It's the Ace of the Geek, baby. We rule the world.
Big Green. That's a nice beat.
What's up? And it's time for the Retro Pick of the Week. The Retro Pick of the Week, well, that's when we go back. Like I said in the earlier cast, we're going to go back. We're going to take a look at the things that have happened in Marvel and other comic book industries. This week, we're going with Marvel, and we're going to be talking about Fear itself. Now, back in the early 2011, you heard very little. It was very cryptic about it. It is the latest in storylines that hit the Marvel Universe, and probably one of the most devastating storylines to hit Marvel Universe, probably since Civil War, The Initiative, and all the ones that come before that. I think the first trailer I ever watched for the series was just 3 phrases, and that was iron breaks, soldiers fall, gods die. And it was like, wow, what are they going to do with this? And what did they do? They did exactly what those 3 phrases mean. I mean, it was intense. You had major players fall and die. You had gods falling and dying. It was just insane. It picks up pretty much right after Siege. And Tony Stark and his crew decide that they're going to rebuild Asgard after Norman Osborn destroyed it. And the Red Skull's daughter, Sin, she finds a mythical hammer. Which, that's the thing about Marvel. There's always some kind of magical weapon or irradiated something, that's going to turn some villain into a supervillain for real. And that's pretty much what happens. And she gets transformed into a herald of the serpent. And you learn the serpent is none other than Odin's own brother. And he's the god of fear. And when she releases him, several things fall from the sky all over the planet. And then you find out that those are other mystical hammers. And they are going to turn major players. Again, I don't want to ruin it for you. I honestly think that when we do these retro picks of the week, I'm going to give you the skinny. I'm going to let you know what's going on in them, so you can go out and read it yourself and really feel it. But a lot of good guys, a lot of bad guys are going to be totally flipped in this entire series. By the end of it, there is so much heartbreak and so much turmoil and so much breaking in the Marvel Universe. I mean, you're left thinking, are they going to be able to put it back together? Is it going to be all right? We're going to start out, we're going to talk about the book 1. That's the best way to go with it. And in book 1, again, Tony Stark and Stark Reliance, that's Tony Stark's new corporation that he started up, have decided that with the help of Odin and with the help of the other Asgardians, they're going to rebuild Asgard in a small city in an obscure state in the southwest United States. And while they're doing this, Sin finds a mythical hammer. The mythical hammer again turns her into this herald. And then she releases this horrible dude. And when Odin finds out what's going on, he decides that he is going to take all his Asgardians and they leave Earth. Of course, Thor was totally against it, and he decides to stay, arguing with his father that Earth is worth saving. And when this happens, when all these other hammers hit the planet, other heroes and other villains, they find the hammers, and I mean major heroes and major villains find these hammers. Just to name a few: Juggernaut, Hulk, Tarzania. It's insane. And then they start wreaking havoc all over the planet. Well, during these battles, Bucky Barnes, who is now the new Captain America, he gets mortally wounded, which ushers in Steve Rogers. He comes back, he picks up the mantle, and they're going up against the God of Fear, and he breaks Captain America's shield. I mean, it's one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in the comic book. It was when Captain America's sitting there, he's laying there, and shield's in 100 different pieces. And while this is going on, just before Odin closes off Asgard to everybody else, Tony Stark goes to him and asks for permission to use his forge, where all Asgardian weapons are made, including Thor's hammer. And while he's there, with the help of some dwarves from one of the 9 realms, he builds these super weapons, and they're composed of the same Uru, which is Thor's hammer is made out of, and of course it's repulsor technology. So I mean, these weapons are ridiculous. And then he comes back and he loads up his people with these weapons. I mean, it's insane. By the end of it, the God of Fear is beaten, and because it's a tragic loss that happens in order to beat him. Somebody's got to go. So I'm not gonna tell you who, but if you already know, if you already read it and you're just listening in, then you know that whoever hasn't read this series is in for some seriousness. But that's pretty much it on the Fear itself. It's a great series. It's an awesome series. I can't wait to see what's going to be next, immediately following it. I love, that Marvel always has some new tie-in to all their storylines. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else is going to be done, and I will cover that as the stories come on. There's a whole lot of stuff that happened in the epilogue. A lot of stuff happened after Fear itself, because it has been a few months since it ended. So if you were confused, if you're just now picking up a Marvel comic book that you ain't picked up in a long while, go back. Check out Fear itself. If Fear itself is a little bit too daunting, go even further back. Check out Initiative. Go back to Civil War. Go back beyond that. Do the Ultimate. I mean, and if you're just like me and my brother, if you're just a true 616 cat, there's still great stories going on in the 616. So check those out and get back with me. If you have a suggestion on what you'd like to see me do, retro pick of the week, something from way back that you want to hear about, drop me a comment. Send me some likes and please subscribe.
Like a soldier, talk like a soldier. Come against me, bitch, I have to roll your ass over. Blowing up like a landmine in due time while I'm stomping through the crowd with a military state of mind. Walk like a soldier, talk like a soldier. Come against me, bitch, I have to roll your ass over. Blowing up like a landmine in due time while I'm stomping through the crowd with a military state.